Hello, my name is Alejandro Bettis. I work in the Instructional Materials and Implementation Division at the Texas Education Agency. This training will show you how to respond if you have excess allotment funds in your district's 410 account. If your district requested and received a disbursement but did not use the full amount, inform the Instructional Materials and Implementation Division about this overage and keep the funds in your 410 account until you need to use them for allowable purchases. If the overage funds are greater than the amount needed for your next disbursement request, go ahead and contact us through the Instructional Materials Help Desk to receive approval through the Help Desk instead of EMAT. In that Help Desk ticket, please provide the following information: the amount of the overage and the reason for the overage, what you want to purchase using these overage funds, and all information that would have been included in the disbursement request, like the title of the product description, and the quantity and unit price for the item. If the overage funds are less than the amount needed, submit a disbursement request for the difference. In the new disbursement request, put the following information in the description field of the overage line: overage, transaction ID of the disbursement request that created the overage, the amount of the overage, and the actual quantity and unit price for that line. Here is an example on how to apply overage funds towards a new allotment disbursement. You'll start by referencing the amount of overage funds that you're using and the transaction ID of the disbursement that the overage funds originated from. On this example, you can see that the appropriate information has been referenced in the description field. This lets us know that the district has $500 in overage funds from a previous disbursement and that they are applying this overage towards the submitted disbursement. You'll also notice that the district listed that they are ordering a quantity of 100 and that each copy costs $10 for a total cost of $1,000. These details are listed in the description field so that districts can request additional funds in an easier manner. You'll notice the district was allowed to enter 1 in the quantity field so that what they enter in the unit price field will be the same as what's auto-calculated in the extended amount field. Again, this request is only for $500, despite this purchase really being for $1,000. This is because the district is using its overage funds on this purchase. Besides the fields mentioned here, all other disbursement fields can be completed normally, like the title field and the subject area field. We're now going to talk about overage funds from freight. We advise that districts submit their freight request as reimbursement to allow districts to know the actual freight cost and avoid overages. If you do end up with overage funds from freight, the funds must be returned to TEA. To notify us of the overages, you will need to use the freight refund link on your EMAT start page. Here's a look at a district start page in EMAT and where you can click Freight Refund. From there, you'll need to click Next. You'll need to now click the magnifying glass icon to choose the transaction ID that the freight overage is coming from. Then, click the magnifying glass icon to confirm the transaction line number. Please note that only one disbursement request transaction ID can be selected for each freight refund. If you have freight overages from multiple disbursement requests, you will need to enter a freight refund request for each transaction ID and each transaction line. Certain information will then populate based on the transaction ID and transaction line number that you select. You will then need to complete the freight amount used and refund check number fields. Once those two fields are completed, the refund check amount will auto-calculate. After completing that information, you'll enter your contact information and click the Notify TEA field. Double check that the refund check number and all the required fields are correct. Then click Save. After clicking Save, go ahead and print the document to mail it in with your refund check. Refund checks should be made out to the Texas Education Agency and mailed to this address: TEA MSC at P.O. Box 13717 in Austin, Texas, zip code 78711 3717. And if you have questions or need assistance about anything that was discussed in this training, or if you have any questions about EMAT and ordering instructional materials, please contact the Instructional Materials and Implementation Division by submitting an Instructional Materials Help Desk request. You can also look at the FAQs that are available on the Instructional Materials Help Desk, or you can look at the TEA website.